Welcome back to New to the Street. I'm Ken Evseroff. Now I want to talk to VeriDoc Global. Daniel D. Silva Lay is the Chief Operating Officer all the way from Brisbane, Australia. Welcome to New to the Street.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. So let's get right to it. How did VeriDoc start and where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so VeriDoc started back in March 2015. It was founded by Guy Scott, our current CEO, and Lindsay Maloney, who's our CEO in Tanzania. And both Guy and Scott sort of come from a education and training background in the mining industry. And what they realized was that there are instances where people with false qualifications were getting behind expensive mining equipment and they were crashing it because they weren't properly qualified to drive these things. So being true entrepreneurs, they set out to look for a solution, and they created a verification system which allowed employees to scan a QR code and then verify whether that qualification was true and correct. And then out of that birthed VeriDoc Global, and today we have a fully functional verification platform leveraging blockchain technology.
Tell us about some of the similar problems that you guys are trying to solve within the realms of what you guys do.
Yeah, so VeriDoc Global is highly geared towards solving problems around document fraud and counterfeit goods. So a perfect use case or application for VeriDoc Global are things like academic qualifications, passports, driver's licenses, land titles, banknotes, anything you can think of that might be subject to document fraud. Our solution also applies to counterfeit things like food fraud, pharmaceutical fraud, counterfeit of luxury goods, collectibles, and artwork.
In the crazy world that we live in today, VeriDoc can also help with regards to verifying people who might or might not be on the right side of the law, whether we're talking terrorism or other stuff. Because often with documents, that's important. You don't really know what you're getting or who you're getting. So it's a natural, step in the right direction for you guys.
That's right. And they're one of the key areas that we're focusing on, working with federal governments and businesses, banks, the finance sector, to try and make sure that that process, where people are claiming who they are and what they're qualified to do and whatever, can be verified.
Which blockchain are you guys using to solve these types of problems?
Yeah, so right now we're currently fully functional and operational on the Ethereum mainnet, the Ethereum Classic mainnet, Bitcoin testnet, and we're currently in the process of integrating with several other private and public blockchains.
And how does the VeriDoc Global Protocol work? Tell me about the technology you guys are using.
Yeah, so the best way to explain the VeriDoc protocol is...
Now remember, we're doing this for people who are looking in, who aren't really that familiar with blockchain and want to understand that, want to understand mining and everything else. So forgive the term, we have to, quote, dummy it down a little bit.
Okay, I'll dummy it down into two parts. So I'm going to talk about unique hash values, that's probably a little bit techie, and QR codes, which a lot of people understand. So a unique hash value is, it's likened to the DNA or the fingerprint of a file. So no two unique hash values are ever the same. And the way that you get a unique hash value for a document is you pass the original document through it's a cryptographic algorithm. But basically that gives you that DNA or that fingerprint for the file. The other side is a QR code. So the way VeriDoc Global works is any user can scan a QR code on the document to be able to verify whether that document is authentic. And what happens when they scan that QR code is it checks the unique hash value that's linked to the QR code with a unique hash value linked to the original document on a client server, and then the same hash value on the blockchain. And when they all match up, you know that you've got a verified file.
How do you get people to understand and appreciate the value of what blockchain brings to VeriDoc?
Yeah, so the blockchain is a key part to our solution. I guess the characteristics that people think of when they look at blockchain are things like immutability, incorruptibility. The data that you place on the blockchain can never be edited or deleted. And so when we're placing a unique hash value on the blockchain, it lends itself as a highly trusted reference point for that verification process. And so when you've got something like that to then make those points match, it makes our verification solution very valuable.
And VeriDoc Global is a multi-chain solution. What does that entail exactly?
Yeah, so we wanted to give our customers more options and ideally more control over their data. And so we understand that different use cases and different scenarios may be better suited to a private blockchain. a public blockchain or a hybrid system, especially when we're talking about government level and things like privacy and sovereignty come into play. And so the multi-chain solution for us basically gives customers the option to choose where they want to place their unique hash values, and in some use cases, their metadata as well. But it also gives them the option to allow users to verify a document on multiple blockchains all at the same time.
Because you hear stories about accounts being hacked and coins being taken and all that stuff with blockchain technology, but you guys are here to cut that off and make it safer for the end user.
That's it. Yeah, we're really all about getting rid of fraudsters, scammers, just getting rid of document fraud and all the counterfeit items out there.
So what separates you guys from others within the confines of the space?
Our key solution focuses on the whole QR code aspect. I don't know of any other solutions that use a QR code that makes it so easy for an end user to flip out the mobile phone and scan the QR code with a third-party app, and then within that process, within a few seconds, find out whether something is genuine or fake.
Where are the original documents stored once they get in the company?
Yeah, so the original documents are always stored on the client servers, and that allows them to be assured that their information is always private and confidential. The neat thing about our solution is that we only need the unique hash value to be able to verify whether something is authentic or not.
That's it?
That's it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so the client doesn't need to place the whole document on the blockchain, and I think that's an important part of our solution.
How do you guys manage all the different blockchain fees with a multi-chain solution?
Yeah, so VDG is used to pay for blockchain fees. VDG, which are the initials for VeriDoc Global, is a ERC20 utility token built on the Ethereum blockchain. And VDG is used to pay for all the associated transaction fees, all the fees associated with linking that QR code to the blockchain and paying to place the unique hash value or the metadata on there, much like you would pay a toll to cross over a bridge or use a motorway. Something that's worth mentioning is that VDG is only paid for at the beginning when you go to secure a document or an item and to link that QR code. After that, a user can verify the document as many times as they like for free.
Who are the customers that are using your technology right now?
Yeah, so right now we've got a number of training organisations that are using VeriDoc to allow employees to verify whether their qualifications are true and correct. We've got a recruitment consultancy who's VeriDocing all the resumes and reference check forms to ensure that no one's playing around with a recruitment process. We've got a security company who have started using VeriDoc for all their ID tags and their ID cards. The neat thing about that solution is that if an employee leaves the organisation, they can technologically cancel that ID card from being authorised, which means the company doesn't have to go and chase staff that have now left the business. And we've got a food company in Australia, Zred, and these guys have started using VeriDoc to not only stop counterfeit cookies leaving the country, but more importantly, a consumer, before they buy the product on the shelf, can scan it to authenticate it.
That's what this barcode is for right here. You hear stories, though, about certain foods that come from other places, like China, where there's issues with a lot of foods, most recently rice. Absolutely. A lot of rice that comes in, and often it's not rice, it's little plastic pellets, and then people are ingesting this.
That's it.
And there's no quality control there, so this is a good thing.
That's right. So, I mean, the humble cookie is probably not the best example, but things like rice, honey's been all over the news, baby formula. I mean, China's a hot spot for that sort of thing. So it's, I guess the cookie is an example that we're a lot more than just document verification, and that our solution is very applicable to food, pharmaceuticals, and other consumables.
And the website, if people want to learn more about VeriDoc Global?
The website is VeriDoc Global, so VeriDoc global.com.
Daniel De Silva Lay, Chief Operating Officer of VeriDoc Global. Thanks for joining us here.
Great. Thank you.
It's our pleasure.